Hello there. Yeah, this is a quick video on something that crossed my mind last night after watching a video by Matt Parker on some code that he's trying to run on a recent project of his, which is a Christmas tree, which has lots of LED lights that are programmable by using Python via Raspberry Pi. And it just highlighted to me this video in particular the importance of using environments in Python, using testing, and having some form of automated testing going on with those environments. So he's basically allowed people to execute to execute their code on his Christmas tree in order to display lovely, pretty patterns that they come up with in Python codes. And the thing that happened in the video is that a lot of this code didn't actually work. It's not working for various reasons. Things like the code formatting is incorrect, or there's a package that has been used that isn't available on Matt's system, and yeah, it's just a lot of these things are able to be. I understand that this is just like something that he did as a fun thing for people to attempt to do, but a lot of those things could be automated away. You could have a setup where you have isolated environments, so the environment, you configure it so that it exists in its own little Python world on your system, and you can have multiple environments, and you would configure the packages that would be installed in that environment. And this is kind of like, this is a given in most software developer worlds. We understand this, and we understand the importance of that. It's just very evident from this particular video that not everyone understands that, and perhaps not in all situations where code is used, those best practices aren't adhered to. So we have virtual environment. Another thing there that could have been done is that we could have had linting set up. So linting, where we check for common errors and suggestions that might be, for instance, we're using tabs and spaces in the same file. So we need to configure it so that we only allow one of those, and if there's, it will, it wouldn't be allowed to be submitted to a repository in GitHub if it had been tested. And we could use something like GitHub Actions in a situation like that to ensure that tests are running regularly. So yeah, it's just really interesting to see this great video, like all these different executions, all these different pretty patterns going on. And the fact that it's running on a Christmas tree is very cool, and it actually makes me think that it would be very cool to experiment with some 3D, some LED lights at some point. But yeah, it just really demonstrated the importance of these three things: isolated environments, testing, and linting in a situation where you're working with a remote team. And I understand it's not actually a team; it's a bunch of random people that are part of Matt's audience. But it's just very interesting to see a big chunk of that video where none of the code runs, and actually it gets to the point where Matt is trying to install packages randomly, and it still doesn't run. Partly because I think, according to the comments there, that it's installed under a different user account, and having a setup using something like pipenv or virtualenv to kind of describe what is going to exist in those environments would have prevented some of those problems, and probably would have made the video have a lot more of those pieces of code work. So yeah, I hope that's useful to people, and yeah, I will speak to you in another video. Right, bye.